Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be finding out what happens if Arthur returns to the old gang campsites after the gang moves. So, for example, in Chapter 2, you would go visit Coulter. In Chapter 3, you would go visit Horseshoe Overlook, etc., etc. So we're going to be doing that in this video today, seeing if there's anything left behind, if there's any secrets we can gather, and a whole lot more. So let's begin in Chapter 2, because that's when we would return to Chapter 1. And we are going to be visiting Coulter first. So Coulter is the very first gang site that the camp posts up at. It's an old abandoned mining town, and there's not a lot that's exciting about Coulter, because I don't know about you guys, but when I was in Chapter 1, I didn't do a lot of exploring around the camp. I was just trying to get through the introductory missions as quickly as possible, so I wasn't really hanging around all that much, but it did give me the opportunity and chance to go back and explore some of the houses. Now, obviously, no one has moved back into Coulter. I don't really think this is a livable area. Not only is it so frigid, but it's so run down. You actually can go back into the old area where Arthur used to stay. And funny enough, if you're looking for a place to rest in a bed, you can actually go back and sleep in Arthur's old bed. I found that to be kind of cool. In fact, this is the only campsite in the game where you can do that. Like Horseshoe Overlook, if you were to go back, doesn't have that ability. Clemens Point doesn't have that ability. So that does make Coulter kind of unique in a way, how you can actually go back and sleep here if you, for whatever reason, really wanted to. There's a couple of provisions that you can grab as well, like some oat cakes and stuff like that, but nothing all that exciting here. The only thing of interest that you might find here is the grave of deceased Vanderlyn gang member Davy Callender. He's actually buried within the area of the settlement. Now, this grave can be visited at any time and is required for the paying respects trophy or achievement, but you don't have to visit it immediately in Chapter 2. It'll be available anytime. So that right there is Coulter, and that is what happens if you visit in Chapter 2. Now, let's visit Horseshoe Overlook in Chapter 3. So in Chapter 3, the gang has moved to the south. They've actually moved to Clemens Point. So what happens if you go back to Horseshoe Overlook? Well, the first thing I actually found was kind of interesting. I wasn't really expecting to come across this, nor had I ever even really known about this document in the past. So the document is called Dutch's Speech Notes, and it says this: "We lost people dear to us. But we are not lost. If I could throw myself into the ground in their place, I would without a moment's hesitation. I would 10 times over, but things don't work like that. We must keep pushing." Pause. Are any of you ready to hang up our hats and admit defeat? It isn't time yet to let things wither and die. All those dreams we had, it is not time. Because that is about all we have and about all anyone has. Dreams, faith, courage, ideas. Makes me who I am. That choice is what makes me a man, makes me an angel and not a monkey. So ask yourself, what is a man? And there you have your answer. Walk like a man who believes in the freedom of his own mind, believes in his God. Know there is a heaven, or hide up in a tree like a God-forsaken monkey. Then say something else about freedom, that quote of Miller's, the whole point of America is freedom, etc. So this is Dutch's speech notes that he actually, I guess, uses to memorize one of the speeches that he actually ends up giving, I think in Chapter 2.
Listen to me. Listen, I know. We lost people, and I miss them. And I would throw myself in the ground in their place 100 times over if I could. But things, they don't work like that. Listen, we need to keep pushing. It ain't time yet to let things wither and die. All those dreams we had, it ain't time. Because that's all we got. That's all that anybody has got. Dreams, ideas. It is that or be a monkey. And right now I am picking us for angels. not monkeys. So you stay with me. You stay with us. Because things are gonna get tough, but we are gonna get where we want to go. Listen. And listen good. It ain't the time for doubting. Otherwise, Mac, Jenny, all of them, they died for nothing. Don't make it like that. For yourselves, I mean, because me, I'm going forward. Because going forward makes me an angel of God and not no monkey. So, ask yourself, what is a man? And there's your answer. Walk like a man who knows that there is a heaven above, or scurry and hide up a tree like some God-forsaken monkey. You know that's the truth. Even you know that, Arthur.
So that's actually kind of cool that you can find this in Horseshoe Overlook. That's something I didn't even really know existed. Kind of a cool detail right there. However, the rest of Horseshoe Overlook is, for the most part, pretty abandoned. Like, you can find some remnants and remains of the gang camp that were here. Like, you'll find campfires and, boxes and little wagon wheels and stuff like that. But for the most part, those speech notes is really the only thing of interest that you'll find at this area. So nothing all that exciting here. Now, let's actually move on and visit Clemens Point when we're in Chapter 4. So Clemens Point is the one near Rhodes with the big tree in the center, sort of near the water. So we visited there, and this one was probably the most boring of the entire bunch because there's literally like nothing here. There's a couple of things that you'll see on the ground, like an old fireplace and some litter. It's pretty clear the gang didn't care too much to clean up after their broken bottles and whatnot. But you won't find anything really left behind that indicates that a gang had actually stayed here. There's no documents, there's no letters, there's nothing of the sorts. So this one is by far the most boring of the entire bit, I will say so. So that's Clemens Point right there. Again, I wish there was something more exciting I could show you, but there really isn't anything worthwhile here. The most exciting one by far is if you visit Shady Belle in Chapter 6. So one gang campsite I'm going to ignore is the one that the gang temporarily uses in LeCay or LaGrasse. They use it for 2 missions before moving to Beaver Hollow. And there isn't really anything there. You can visit it at any time. It's just sort of like a swampy sort of voodoo shack area. So it's not really all that special. We're not going to be covering it in this video today. However, if you return to Shady Belle in Chapter 6, when I arrived for the first time, I noticed that there was a ton of people here, and the Lemoyne Raiders had actually taken back over the mansion. That's pretty cool. I did not know that they were going to do that. So when I arrived for the first time, I got involved in a massive firefight where I actually had to clear out all of the Lemoyne Raiders. So I can't tell you how many of these guys were here. It must have been 15, 20, 25 of them that I actually had to shoot. It was pretty crazy. Now, once all of them were eventually cleared out, I tried to go inside of the house, and there was no way to get inside. The house had actually been locked. Now, because the Lemoyne Raiders were here, there was actually a ton of provisions that I could grab. So if you do check this out for yourself in Chapter 6, go here and grab a ton of stuff. Whether it's health cures or ammo or rifle cartridges, it's a lot of good stuff that you can take. However, I was a little bit confused why this gang campsite was the only one where another gang had moved in. So I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe if I sleep and come back, since I just took all of them out, they'd be gone. And it turns out the answer is yes. If you come back another day later after removing all of the Lemoyne Raiders, they will be gone and you are free to explore the inside of the house. The inside of the house is pretty depressing though. There's like no one in here at all. Like all the stuff that the gang had been completely removed. There's a couple of things that you can grab from like some of the side tables and drawers, like premium cigarettes and stuff like that. But for the most part, that is about it. There's not really else a ton that you can gather here. Now, if you're wondering why we're not going to be visiting Beaver Hollow in this video, well, that's because the only way to visit Beaver Hollow after the gang leaves would be if you are in the epilogue as John Marston. And I have already visited all the gang campsites as John Marston. If you'd like to check out that video, I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's actually really cool. I won't spoil all of it in case you haven't seen that video, but if John returns to the old gang campsites, he'll hear some very mysterious voices of some of the gang members and some of the important scenes that occurred at those locations. So I highly recommend you check that out for yourself. It is ultra cool. Now, if you visit as Arthur Morgan, you're obviously not going to hear any of those voices because number one, not a lot of time has elapsed. Number two, everyone for the most part, I say for the most part, is still alive. And it's just something that doesn't happen to him. He doesn't get any voices or hallucinations or doesn't see any ghosts or spirits or anything like that. So overall, in my opinion, Shady Belle was definitely the coolest place to visit. Although it is unique finding that like document of Dutch's inside of Horseshoe Overlook. I was like not expecting that at all. I think that's a really cool little document right there, and a little detail that sort of shows off another secret you might not have known about Dutch Vanderlyn. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating on this video. That'd be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care. And I'll see you guys in the next video.